Welcome to another episode of the Back Catalogue podcast. This is the podcast where by we, I mean me, Appa, and my co-host / co-founder, Vincent. We dive into Disney Plus streaming service and we tell you, the listener and the viewer, what is worth it and what is not. And Vincent, we're back. We've dived back into the Disney Plus streaming service to hit up one of the recommended videos that came up on Vincent's Disney Plus.
Yeah,
I'm going to tell you.
This was the only recommended one that wasn't an animation.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Can I tell them what it is, Vincent? We're doing.
Hold on.
You serious?
All right, tell them what it is.
Dude, I'll throw this camera at you. I'll throw that camera at you. This camera, that camera. Look at anyone and I'm going to throw them at you, you know? We're doing 2003's very own Holes. But also, before we get into Holes, I said it on the other episode. Maybe the other episode's coming out later in the year, in the week.
In the year. Who knows? We might just hold it until it's not meta anymore.
That's right. It might be coming out another time. But let me just say, the Patreon is out there. $2 a month. You can get yourself over 60 pieces of content, if not 60 pieces of content. Right? Not only do you get new podcasts every week, 30 to 45 minute episodes, sometimes maybe even 20, depending on how much time we have. But also you get bloopers.
You get 30, 40, sometimes even 10-minute episodes.
But you get bloopers from the YouTube videos. You get discounts on merch.
We do.
There'll be more merch coming soon.
We don't have merch at the moment,
but when there's merch, you'll be getting discounts on them. You will also be getting the Vince Catalogue and the App Catalogue podcast. That's the podcast where we individually talk about the things that we want to talk. Only available on the Patreon.
We just ramble about assorted things.
Whatever's really on our mind.
That's right.
At the time. You know, he'll talk about jams. We'll talk about traffic jams. Like we'll talk about all sorts of jams. But also, specifically, if you get onto the Patreon, you pay $2 a month. The more people that are on there, the more content we can create for the people. There'll be Patreon-specific videos.
Do it for the people.
Do it for the people, man. But anyway, that's what I just wanted to say before we got into 2003's very own Holes. Do you want me to give you some facts?
Give us some facts and then I'll give you some questions.
Woo! All right. So this has got the 7 out of 10 on the IMDb. It's got the 78% on the Rotten Tomatoes. Now, this movie, the movie Holes, was based on the book Holes by Louis C.K. or Saka.
Bro, based on the movie Holes?
And let me tell you, man, 4 out of 5 on Goodreads, 5 out of 5 on Booktopia.
Far out. That's pretty good.
4.8 out of 5 on Scholastic Teachers Network or something. You know,
on the Teachers Network?
I don't know if it was the Teachers Network. But it's a 19...
What do you mean you don't know if it was the Teachers
Network? Well, because it's half cut off. It was a 1998 young adult novel written by Louis C.K. So, Vincent, I'm going to give you the budget. I'm going to give you the box office. I'm going to give you a synopsis and you're going to give us some questions, all right? Now, this had a budget of $20 million and it had a box office of $71.4 million. Dude, Shia LaBeouf will do it to you. He'll get you that money. So the synopsis for this movie is the Yelnats family curse lands young Stanley at Camp Green Lake. And we're here.
So I got some questions. First one, people also ask, why was the book Holes banned?
Oh.
Is banned because in a 5th grade American class in Connors Emerson School, America, the book was read out loud, which caused an uproar among the parents.
You're kidding me.
I'm not joking.
Dude, get into that more.
I'm going to get into that. Well, Welly banned books. What kind of website is this? Welly banned books. So, okay.
Welly banned.
Stanley Yelnats is an overweight boy. So in the book, he's overweight.
In the movie, he's Shia LaBeouf. You wouldn't have known it.
Because he's LaBeouf. He's not low overweight.
You gonna read it? Or you just gonna look at it yourself?
I'm looking for the thing. Okay, so they thought it was an inappropriate book to read to 9-year-olds. A father of one of the children took the book to a local government and said the book should be banned. Thus, the book was banned.
That's all it was about.
This is. I think honestly, this could just be for clickbait. You know,
dude, this is PC gone mad. If this is PC gone
in 2004,
mad, I've ever seen it.
I got another one. What are they digging for in the movie Holes?
Yeah, that's a good question.
They're looking for kissing Kate Barlow's fortune.
Bro.
Is Mr. Sir in Holes a woman? No.
Huh? That question doesn't make sense to me.
Fan theories. Oh, hold on. Fan theories.
Oh, this is amazing.
Holes. This is Reddit as well.
And
Right,
also, when it gets into fan theories, just say the theories and then we'll answer them as this podcast goes along.
Okay.
All right?
Okay. So let me load up Reddit.
Yeah, dude. Oh, this is amazing. Dude, you'll find a plethora of wild and amazing things on Reddit. Reddit can be a place of greatness and a place of just what, like, you go in there, you're like, what the hell have I stumbled across? How have I stumbled across this subreddit?
How have I stumbled? All right. So at the end of the movie, Mr. Sir is pointed out by a police officer as Marion Savillo, a criminal hiding from the law. The boys laugh and one shouts, "Marion, I didn't know that was a man's name." And Mr. Sir, who is at the time clad in pink pajamas, responds by saying it's not. With this knowledge and the knowledge that she, has been in deep cover for a long time under an obviously masculine pseudonym, Mr. Sir, one could draw the conclusion that Marion Savillo was really just a manly woman. And then the top comment is, Marion can be a man's name. That's Reddit for you.
Dude, that's BuzzFeed solved right there. They've done it. They've done it, man. Ryan Bagara's looking at that and he's like, they've just taken our whole steez, you know? And
That's
they've
right.
done the opposite of it.
They've done the opposite. So yeah, that's all.
That's hilarious. That was solved instantly.
Just,
It's like, you know, names can be other names.
that's right. I know. Do shut him down straight away. Him or her or them.
Dude, that's amazing. Anyway,
Shut that individual down.
let's get into holes. Now,
Bro, are you thick?
I want to talk about Shia LaBeouf just in general.
Yeah.
Because, like, there's, you know, when we look at Shia LaBeouf now versus when we look at whole Shia LaBeouf, there's been a big change in his life, in his world. You know, we're going to talk about specifically the time where he went and he sat down and he watched all of his movies.
That's wild though.
He would have watched Holes, man.
He would have watched Holes.
Yeah, dude. Do you remember the live stream of that?
I've never watched. Oh, I was about to say Holes. No, I remember that occurring.
You remember that?
And I remember the memes of him just sitting there. Bro, how am I getting phone calls
as well?
from Muzzy Media?
Dude,
Bro.
do they want anything?
Do they
So,
want-
the other
want
thing
me?
that I really want to talk about is there's plot holes in all movies, right? There's things that you look at and you say, that can't exist in the real world.
Yeah, this one's got a lot of plot holes.
Bro. Should we shut up shop here? But also, the major plot hole in this movie, and also just the major goof, like you go on IMDb, you know, you look at the goof section. The major goof of this movie would be like, how does this place exist?
Oh, yeah.
And there's been no repercussions to the individuals involved.
Yeah.
Up until the point of, you know, the end of the film. But we'll get into that. We're going to talk about that a whole lot. And then I want to talk about the characters because everyone's an asshole in this movie. There's no one good person. 0 people are good. Maybe just 0 is good.
Maybe just 0.
And we'll get into that. But Vincent, what was my first thing? Let's talk Shia LaBeouf. Let's just talk Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf.
Well, let's give a synopsis of actually what happens in this movie as well.
Okay.
So, Stanley Gelnatz, he's a young boy who's walking back home. He's walking somewhere, and these pair of shoes hit him on the head. So he hears some sirens. He takes the shoes. He just starts running. So people assume that he's stolen these shoes.
Which, why would you start running with the shoes?
I'd be like, what the hell?
Yeah.
You'd be like, what the hell for a
You
minute?
understand why he takes them, because his dad is trying to get rid of foot odor. So bro, this is a scientific sample.
Yeah, that's right. And they did smell. But then he starts running.
He starts running.
Because he assumes the police are after him, which they are in this case. And it turns out that the shoes were actually a famous baseball star's shoes who he was selling them for charity at an orphanage. Right? Stanley Gelnatz, he either has the option of going to prison or going to Camp Green Lake.
That's the thing that I was going. Right, he's going to jail. You're going to put a child in jail
A child who's probably never done anything up to that point.
for just stealing some shoes.
Yeah. And like, you've got them. You can take them back.
Yeah.
It's not like he sold them.
Yeah, you give him some community service. You know, you pick up some rubbish for a bit.
You say, hey, maybe you should work at the orphanage to realize what you were taking away from those people.
Maybe get him some therapy.
I mean, exactly right, Vincent. You know, a kid who's not even close to, he just looks like he's hit teenagehood,
Yeah.
right? But from there, we learn that the Yelnats family, which is Stanley spelled backwards.
It's just hilarious. Just
Yeah, it's so great. Like, I should be Apo Oppa is what I should be.
Oppa! That would be good though.
That'd be good. Like it's culturally appropriate.
That's exactly right.
Exactly right. So not only do we learn about the fact that their name is Yelnats and it's Stanley backwards, but also we learn that there's an apparent curse on the family that affects all the men within the family who are all called Stanley Yelnats.
Yeah, because the original Stanley Yelnats didn't take this lady up a mountain to drink from the stream.
to get strong. Which, look, there's a lot of wild flashbacks in this movie, and there's a lot of links to the current present from the flashback in the movie, which is just, coincidences happen. They do. But this was the wildest of coincidences.
This was the wildest. The other thing is, a lot of the stuff was the Wild West.
Yes, sir.
How long ago was the Wild West?
It only seems like it was like 2 generations
That's
ago.
what I mean.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking if my great-great-grandfather was in the Wild West, but that's not very far removed from me.
It wouldn't even be your great-great-grandfather. Wouldn't it just his great-grandfather?
Maybe it was. No, it was his grandfather's grandfather.
Oh, okay. It was. All right.
So it was his great-great-grandfather.
But you see, things have changed, man. And things were wild back then.
That's why they called it the Wild West.
I don't know if it was specifically Wild West times. Like, I don't know if people were, searching
West
for
times.
doubloons and like gold, But
1865 to 1895. Okay, so that's probably...
it's probably around the mark.
Yeah, probably around the mark.
Yeah.
That's much more recent than I thought.
But when you look back and you actually look at massive moments in history and you're saying, wow, that's a long time ago.
That's not a long
Like
time
heads are still like, not from the Wild West, but from other massive points in history, there's people that are still around that experience that part of history. You know what I mean?
Well, no.
What do you mean, no?
1895.
I'm not saying specifically the Wild West. I'm saying things that we consider to be very far in the past.
Yeah, like Vincent van Gogh.
Dude, Mans was he was just at the Adelaide Convention Centre. He had all his art up there, bro. He's still here.
We seen him. Bro.
We seen him. But yeah, exactly right. You're looking back, you think these people are from way in the past because you've just heard their names, but that's your grandfather's friend.
Yeah.
Your grandfather
right.
may have experienced the same time and the same era as that specific man.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild. And
But-
I understand that, but yes.
But
There's
yeah,
a lot of flashbacks between that and, they give you a little tidbits here and there
and it all leads into that
into the climax.
into the climax in which
And everything is connected.
curses can be broken and whatnot, and you can make something of yourself even when things look like they're going to be bad. I don't know what the purpose of this movie is, but I never know what the purpose of a movie is. But the one thing that I do want to talk about is Shia LaBeouf here, because this was introducing Shia LaBeouf. Now I'm pretty sure he was on the Even Stevens show at this point, but this might have been his first movie,
Yeah.
because this is introducing. I think they need to do that more if they don't do that anymore. They need to do introducing this person, because they're like, this guy's going to be the big thing.
You're going to have some random Netflix film and it's going to be introducing everyone because everyone's unnamed there.
That's right.
Credits are going to be 25 minutes.
Introducing. Also introducing. also introducing. But Shia LaBeouf he was big things for a while. He was hot property for a while.
Well, he's a good actor in this movie.
Oh, yeah. No, he is a good actor.
He's a good actor.
Regardless of what movie he's in, he is a good actor. I've seen Disturbia. You remember the movie Disturbia, the hit movie Disturbia?
Yeah, that song by Rihanna. I
Yeah.
love that song, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that song might have been in the credits.
Yeah, Disturbia.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
I'm at the top of the pop charts now.
Dude, Rihanna, shout out Rihanna. Apparently she smells good. I saw this Twitter video where it was just all these people saying that Rihanna smells good. Rihanna posted it.
Look how weird stuff.
Rihanna posted it. You're gonna talk down to me because I follow her on the Twitters and the Instagrams. Bad girl Riri. you're gonna be mad at me because I follow Fenty Beauty on the Instagram.
No, I'm not
know?
going to be mad at you for that. Sorry, I apologize.
But Shia LaBeouf has become more meme than man over these last couple of years. And,
He's done it to himself.
he's done it to himself. Obviously when you're growing up in Hollywood, it's holy crazy over there. It's just I couldn't think of it.
Yeah, I know. You're sure.
But obviously, you know, as a child growing up in that level of fame amongst all those people, you're not, unless you have appropriate, as Vincent was saying, appropriate therapy and appropriate counselling
But also,
to lead you through it.
Appropriate parenting.
And role models. Yeah. You're going to end up being in a pretty difficult spot. And obviously, Shia LaBeouf, a lot of that, the crazy things that have happened in his life have come from his history and him growing up in a very weird world.
Yeah.
But there was this thing where he invited people people lined up, they walked into a room and he had a paper bag on his head. Do you remember that?
No.
And you'd take the paper bag off his head and you'd just sit there and he'd just be crying the whole time.
Bro, to cry on demand?
Dude,
That's
I know.
acting.
And you'd go in there and he'd be crying and you'd be talking to him and he just wouldn't say anything. He'd just stare at you and cry.
That's performance art, isn't it?
I mean, that's performance art, but that's also like, where do you get to a point where you're thinking this is performance art?
I don't know. I guess you got to do Holes. I guess you got to do Transformers 1 and 2.
Is he in the third one? He's in the third one.
Isn't the third one the one with... Oh, yeah, he is.
He's in the third
It's
one.
Megan Fox was in the third one.
That's right.
I remember
yeah.
there was one of the main characters.
Rose Huntington.
That's the one.
Jason Statham's partner,
Yeah.
I think. But also, the movie Disturbia, of course. No, but then there was, you know,
Wait,
then
did you hear that Rihanna actually spells really good?
Then there was the bit where, you know, obviously when Trump was being elected into politics, a lot of people were mad and for good reason. And one of the things that Shia LaBeouf did was on camera, he had a camera just sitting there, and for hours, him and about 4 or 5 other people just kept walking up to the camera and saying, "He will not divide us. He will not divide us." And then he ended up just punching a man in the face.
Who?
Shia LaBeouf.
As in one of his mates that he was there with.
I don't know if it was his mate or if it was a guy who said, you know,
He will divide us.
"Hey, bro, he's going to divide us." And it's like, no, specifically, he won't divide us. And he's like, no, I think he will. Like, there's particular policies and, you know, his approach to dealing with, different races.
So he's going to put a wall up against Mexico so he can divide us.
It's specific division here. It's physical division.
It's physical division.
And then
That's
Manson
right.
got punched.
And Mexico is the denominator.
Man. And that's sad, isn't it?
That's right.
And now Caitlyn Jenner wants to keep building the wall. So what are you doing here, Caitlyn?
She wants to keep building the wall.
Yeah, dude. I saw this video come up on my Twitter's is, I'll find out Rihanna smells good. I'll find out Caitlyn Jenner wants to build the wall. Dude, you just got to follow people on Twitter, man. You'll have a better life for it, you know? I mean, people say that Twitter is, it's like, it's just scum and villainy there, you know? It's a wretched hide, right? People say if you go on Twitter, it's a wretched hide. And it's like, I thrive in that environment. I go into that environment, I see it, and I'm like, bro, this is all toxic. And I love every second of it. There's never good news on Twitter. But I'm there, I'm just like, bro, that's wild. And I'll go to the next thing, I'll be like, dude, that's wild. And then you go to the next thing, you're like, oh, bro, Rihanna smells good.
That's wild.
That's pretty wild.
Oh, man.
And then there was the thing where Shia LaBeouf sat down and he watched all of his movies just in a row. He slept in the theater. I remember watching it at one point because this was during our university time, so we had nothing to do. So I remember watching a period of him watching the movie, and he wasn't even in a seat, but you could see him in the background asleep, like, on the ground. Because man's had to sleep. Like, how many movies?
He's done a lot of movies.
He's done a lot of movies. But the
wild.
memes that came out of that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who has brought us more memes than Shia LaBeouf, and I think the only other person would maybe be. I mean, Drake's had a lot of memes.
Yeah.
But I reckon Shia LaBeouf might.
Yeah, but the diversity of memes
That's right.
From Shia LaBeouf.
I mean, DJ Khaled had a lot of memes, but he was he was a bit of a fad for a bit.
Yeah.
You know, another one. You played yourself.
Oh,
the keys. They got frustrating real quick.
Yeah. But like when they started, you were like, how could anyone like
not enjoy this?
That's
right.
There's a recent one of him when he just stands up and he's like looking like he's looking at something that's obviously got his attention, which makes me laugh every time.
Yeah, no, and then he did the green screen of just do it.
Just do it.
Bro, because that's not even just static memes.
I know.
Because you can put that into GIFs and whatnot.
There's the song Shia LaBeouf in which those people sing about Shia LaBeouf and they all have Shia LaBeouf masks on, and then it cuts to the crowd and it's Shia LaBeouf in the crowd and he's clapping. There's another visual meme, like another moving meme.
Right, that's
another
too
MM.
good.
You know? Yeah, no. So Shia LaBeouf, he's done. Obviously, he's had a lot of choices that he's made that haven't been the most appropriate choices. But we can look. You can't judge that by his choice, and you have to look back on his history, and you have to look into the fact that this man didn't have an upbringing that was definitely a solid one. Not only from probably an attachment point of view, but also just from a role model point of view as well.
That's right. And judge not a man by the plot holes in his life. Judge a man by the holes that he did in 2003, the movie.
Yeah, because apparently that's how you become a good boy. You just dig holes.
Just dig holes.
That's the premise of...
Anyway, should we get into this movie? You talked enough about Shia LaBeouf? Because I want to talk about this movie.
We've done 20 minutes of Shia LaBeouf talk.
Well, not really. We did about 15 minutes of just rambling on assorted topics.
Yeah. But
that's on brand.
I think we could leave it here, to be honest.
Nah, bro. I want to talk about this movie. For real.
Okay.
All right, so...
I mean, we're 21 minutes in, bro. We can just shut up shop. Go on. Yeah,
all right, did you enjoy this movie?
I you know what? For me, I watched this. I read the book and watched this in year...
Did you?
I think this was like year 5 reading.
Yeah. Was it banned?
It wasn't banned.
Was an uproar with the parents?
That was my dad. No. I don't remember it being banned, but I do remember reading it, I believe. And I do remember watching this movie for English. And I really enjoyed it at the time. And you know what? I enjoyed this movie watching it now. I mean, there was the bits that frustrated me the most were when they were just going to slow motion.
Yeah.
For no good reason.
When someone would just look slightly to the left and it'd be slow motion, you go, what's going on here? And that was it.
Yeah, but and I was thinking maybe it's the heat. Heat slows things down. You're out in the desert doing shoveling, doing holes. You're going to be slowed down in some capacity. But I think it was just a choice that the editors were like, this will make we got this much runtime. We need just a little bit extra.
We should need a little bit extra.
But other than that, I thought it was a fun kids movie.
Yeah, I have to say I really enjoyed this. You said, everyone's an asshole in this movie, which is correct.
Yeah.
But I think they did it well because the kids obviously are from dysfunctional upbringings.
Yes.
A lot of them. And that is likely how they would act. I don't know for sure, but I'm sure that's probably, they're wary of new people and they're not really
it's more of a
friendly.
That's right. It's more of a protective mechanism as opposed to them doing it to make someone else feel bad.
But I liked how there was some camaraderie and they were getting around each other a bit, but then they also still had that protective, screw you, I'm an asshole. My name's Armpit, They had that.
Yeah.
And I like how they didn't just become all friends.
That's true.
In the end, I think that was a good move by the book writer, I'm assuming, or the director.
I mean, they did sort of become all friends because they have a pool party at the end.
Yeah, that's right. Well, this is what I'm going to get into.
Yeah, okay.
The ending was a bit rough.
The ending was a typical
kids
Disney
movie,
ending.
Disney ending. That's right.
Which is fine.
High School Musical, just everyone jumps in the pool.
Oh, and you'd love to see it. Because you're like, bro, imagine me in that pool. Imagine the slides that I would do.
Oh, they're nice looking pools. Yeah, that's right. A slide built into the pool, bro. Come on.
That's rich things.
That's
yeah.
But the whole thing of the past and everything kind of coming together, I really like that. I really like how, you had Stanley, who did the onions.
Yes.
And Mans was interested in Mary Lou.
Mary Lou?
I don't know what her name is. The boat was named Mary Lou, but I don't think
her name was Katie.
Oh yeah,
Katie B.
KB.
Katie Berry.
Katie.
No, what was her name? It was like Kate B something.
Kissing Kate Bride or something.
Yeah.
Anyway,
who's played by Medium's very own, and I've forgotten her name. Patricia Arquette.
Medium or large?
I'm talking medium.
Medium.
I'm talking like she's a medium.
Oh.
Not in clothing. Like she does like oh bro, there's a dead person around here somewhere.
She's just doing a grocery shop. Hold on, there's a dead person around here. He's been shot.
Dude, that is it's just a person on the ground. That's a skit though. Look at this. So, hi, hey, can I please buy that blouse? Oh, what size are you? I'm a medium. And then they bring out a medium. It's like, no, this is too big for me. But she's specifically, she's a medium.
Yeah, but they don't say what size are you. They just say, oh, what are you?
What?
A medium.
Dude, that's a skit.
That's a skit.
That's a skit if I've ever seen one. And we've got to get Patricia Arquette to do it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. But I liked how, I mean, a funny thing was the man was just selling onions and people just eating onions. Everything was just onions.
also-
Surely they could have made a different vegetable.
Yeah, you would have
I'm
thought
sure they had some, the curtains were blue situation. They had some.
layers, holes. There's like layers in holes. Yeah.
But let's just talk about,
The meme culture.
bro, absolutely. This is one of the toppest of tier memes.
Dude, I had to sit here. I was trying to bite my tongue just to see if you'd bring it up, but
I've never seen this movie before, but as soon as I saw that guy, I was going, bro, I know this man.
dude, I can fix that.
And
Is the meme.
the actual part where the meme it originates from is so great.
Yeah. And it is that part though. That's the thing.
And it's perfect because she's going, oh, the window's broken or something, and he's looking around, he looks up, looks back at her. I can fix that.
And that's it.
Perfect.
But also, that's the best thing. So a lot of times with movie memes, it's never the specific point.
Yeah.
So sometimes one does not simply walk into Mordor. He's not saying that at that point.
No.
But that's a great spot to say one does not simply because he's doing these ones.
Yeah.
But that man
Lucky he wasn't doing it below the waist because he would have got you.
Oh, bro, that's 2 punches. That's 2 punches. But man's Stanley was specifically at that point, he said, I can fix that. And that became meme history.
Holes, man.
Holes, man. Holes brings, and I mean, this is a movie which it talks about the past and it talks about the present. And it talks about how they intertwine. We talked about Shia LaBeouf being a meme. A meme more than man. We talked about Stanley. We're talking about how they come together now. Holes is still doing things. You dig a hole big enough, you end up where you were,
So you just say things if you just say things that don't really make sense, but sound really profound.
Yeah.
People are going to be like, bro, he said the curtains were blue, but it wasn't because he was blue in the face because he felt bad.
Yeah, it's the zones of regulation. He feels sad. That's the specific. That's the first zone, the blue zone.
That's the first zone.
Anyway, yeah.
Oh man,
that's too funny, man. But I'm glad that you brought that up, and also the Wild Wild West parts and the kissing Katy Perry, right? I'd love just a movie of that.
That was cool.
That's good in itself.
But that was because it all came together. There was a reason for everything because they said at the start. Yeah. I feel like everything came together in this movie really well.
You would have thought there was a book written about it before.
But you would have thought someone had actually written this and, had beginning, middle, end, had a few little paragraphs in between.
Yep.
Someone thought about this, is what I'm saying. Someone sat down and goes, bro, I'm going to write a book. But the thing that I disliked, I mean, okay, let's talk about maybe Hector Zeroni and Stanley and Shia LaBeouf, yeah.
Well, this is a point that I've got for Hector Zeroni and Shia LaBeouf. The message of this movie is don't disrespect the people who would throw hands for you. That's something I wrote down last night.
Yeah, dude, Mans was about to knock someone over the head with a pool ball.
I know. And Shia LaBeouf didn't even want to teach him to read at the start. I did like their dynamic.
It made sense because you go, why is he just... Because at the start you're thinking, bro, why is he talking to him? He doesn't talk to anyone else. He's talking to this guy? Because he feels bad because man stole the shoes.
That's right, once he figures out that he stole the shoes.
So...
And I also love that... I know we're jumping around a bit. And for those who haven't watched the movie, go watch the movie.
It's a good movie.
It's a good watch. But when Hector Zeroni, when Zero says to Shia LaBeouf, he says, hey, I'm the one that stole the shoes. In the end, I'm the one that stole the shoes. And Shia LaBeouf isn't like, it's not the typical, we're not friends anymore.
Yeah.
It was just simply, Shia LaBeouf was like, dude, this is fate. Like, we were meant to meet here.
But this is, I think, part of the movie and part of the history, the narrative, is that Stanley, from a young age, has been told by his grandfather, bro, you were unlucky. We're unlucky. We got no luck. But Stanley... No matter what happens to him, which man's got hit in the head with shoes, someone threw off a bridge. That's unlucky.
That's very unlucky.
But he didn't think of any of this as unlucky. He didn't think he was unlucky. He just thought, it is what it is. Things happen as they happen, And the whole movie he goes by with just nothing with He's just happy to be wherever he is.
Takes everything in his stride and he just
That's
keeps
right.
moving.
And that's what disappointed me when at the end you found out that Hector Zeroni was the old lady's and it was actually a curse. Oh my God, they broke the curse because he lifted him and he ate the onions in the stream.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I really disliked, because I felt like there was a really good message there in saying you might think you're unlucky, but sometimes things just don't go your way, and then sometimes things do. So you just got to keep positive, and like you said, you got to keep everything in your stride.
Yeah. Take everything in your stride.
And
now,
sorry, just continuing. Yeah. And it would have been good if there was no curse. It was just a story. There was no curse. It just is what it is.
Yeah. And I think, especially adding to what you're saying, if people are telling you that you have bad luck, or that your father was like this, so you're going to be like this, or your whatever was like this, so you're going to be like this, and then to just change that narrative on your own without it being a curse.
That's right. Take it into your own hands rather than, kid watching this movie and go, oh, bro, I'm bad luck. I just got to lift some kid and we just got to go up a mountain.
It looks like a thumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like they miss, and I haven't read the book. So maybe it's different in the book. Maybe they did this in a movie so they could do a pool party ending.
Oh, you got to do it though.
But that was one thing that I disliked, because, bro, I was teary in some of this movie when Hector and Shia LaBeouf, Stanley, he's gone, bro, I'm not leaving without Hector.
I know, that was great. I love that bit, that last little bit. I thought Hector got bitten by one of them. You know how he obviously passed out from just malnutrition.
Yeah, you thought he was.
I thought he got bitten by one of those
yellow belly liars.
Yeah, that's right. But he didn't. Hey, you know what's funny? How you said the tearing up thing. After I watched this movie, this is very tangential. This is not on topic at all. But I just came across this thing on YouTube, and it came up. It was this is my 200-pound transformation. And it was a guy that was 400 pounds, got down to
200 pounds?
200 something pounds, right? And I just watched it and I was in tears. And it was just him, just every day, he was every week, he was this is me, I'm going for a walk. I could only walk this much, but now I'm walking this much. Hey, look, I'm with there was only 2 people that did this with me now. Look how many other people are trying to change their ways because of what I've posted out I put out on the internet.
Yeah.
And I was just this is the most amazing 15-minute video I've ever seen. Dude, I was almost in tears. I was in tears. I was like,
dude, something like that, they'll just get you, because you go on YouTube recommended and go, okay, yeah, this is probably just it's funny or something like that. He probably falls and smacks his head against something. And then that's what you're thinking. And then you're just crying.
Yeah.
And you're going, bro, this is not what I expected, but I'm in tears and I'm enjoying this.
That's right. But man's just...
Because we're all just humans, flying on this rock for eternity.
Yeah. I mean, the way that things are going environmentally, it ain't going to be eternity, bro.
Nah.
But I don't know what that had to do with anything, but I feel you. I get what you mean. I'm a person, I'm a simple man. I'm a simple man. So when I see the pool party at the end, I'm just thinking, this is great. Look how many burgers they got. This is high quality living. Because, if I found gold, if I found, $250,000 bonds that were worth now $1 million, dude, I'd be buying a big house with a big pool. I'd be flipping burgers every day. I'd be like, well, what about your cholesterol? It's bro, I got millions.
I got millions.
Dude, I don't care if I die tomorrow, bro, I got millions, And they'll be like, you can't take it to the grave. It's watch me.
Gold suit, fool.
Bro, this suit is gold plated. People who are my pallbearers, they're holding the cup, they're like, dude, this thing's heavy. It's because I got to go, and it's just there's a speaker, and I've said all these lines in it.
Yeah, bro, you seen this coffin is gold. That's too good,
dude. Yeah. Well,
because you can take it to the grave. People say, "Oh, you can't take it to the grave." You can, because there's a grave. You can make it as big as you want. I mean, people made pyramids. They took everything to the grave.
That's right, including other people. There's other people.
Bro, I'm going. Pyramids. You coming with me?
Yeah, dude. That's wild. It is wild that the world that we live in and the world that ancient Egyptians lived in as well.
It's the same world.
It's the same world. We breathe the same air. Probably a bit cleaner back then.
Probably. It might have been dusty. They're making the pyramids for so long.
That's true, yeah.
It's just sand everywhere.
Yeah.
It's coarse. It gets in between my toes.
So, this movie was great, man. I enjoyed it. I think that the dynamic between Shia LaBeouf and the Zero character, the Zero actor, I don't know what his name is, but he was good.
He was good. He was learning to read. He's gone, bro, no, this is Stanley's. It says Stanley Yelnats.
Yeah.
That was wild at the end. Nah, bro, which, I mean, you put 2 and 2 together once.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Now, I want to quickly touch on Camp Green Lake in itself.
Yeah.
So this is another, there's a lot of Disney movies that we've seen where said the parents are the biggest villains because they don't check up on their kids. They don't realize what's going on because the reality is if you're a parent, right, emotionally, you might not be able to see what's going on with your child. They might be really good at holding in their emotions, masking their emotions when they're at home, masking their emotions when they're out in the public. But when there's physical things happening to your child, specifically when your child is being taken to a camp in which he's going to be rehabilitated because he's technically a criminal for some reason, you're going to do some research into that. You're at least going to read a brochure.
You're at least going to read, but they could fake the brochure,
You're at least going to ring up and be like, hey, what's going on? How's the lake? And man's will be like, bro, there's holes.
Yeah, but
I know he wrote.
We're digging the lake.
I know that he wrote to them.
He
saying,
wrote them, so that was.
And again, that
and a lot
goes
of
into
the other
message.
people, a lot of the kids have been abandoned by their parents, or I think it's a bit more.
But also, there'd be if Stanley Yelnats could go there for being accused of stealing shoes, there'd be other kids there who have just like, I accidentally,
That's right.
I grabbed this bar and I was going to take it to the front counter. I accidentally put it in my pocket, and I just left.
I pay for the rest of the things in my car, but this one I just accidentally.
Yeah, everyone's done that. Sometimes it's a
You've
gold
done
bar.
that.
It's a gold bar. No,
With gold bullions, bro. They're just my pants are around my ankles because I'm just holding my pants.
But I was gonna put this on the self-serve checkout. I didn't realize I had gold bullions in my shorts. But there's someone include because this is not only is this run by these 3 people, but it is something that is affiliated with the government of the United States of America.
That's right.
Because it's a judge sends the people there. It's not like Sigourney Weaver goes up to the Yelnats residence being like, hey, I heard he stole shoes. Come to the camp, bro. We got flippers for the swimming. You can smell those. We got this. We got that.
You can smell those.
Yeah, because they love smelling shoes in that family.
Oh, yeah.
So instead, it's a judge that says you can either go to jail or you can go to this camp, which for some reason I know nothing about as a judge.
Yeah, because it wasn't legit because obviously they got the legal individuals.
That's right.
There and bro, we're shutting this down.
Yeah. And also then I love that Stanley they're like, nah, he was innocent. How did they know he was innocent? They must have seen camera footage.
What do you mean? Because
at the end that lady comes and she's like, where's Stanley Yelnats?
No, it's because they got money now.
No.
Yeah. Because he found the cure for foot odor. That's why he could get the lawyer.
That was after that point, wasn't it?
Not as in they hadn't found the gold
right
quite yet when the lawyer came first.
Oh, so that's
but
what
he broke the curse because he took Hector
to the top
to eat onions, strictly onions, bro. They'd be farting for days.
Oh man, you'd be smelling, man.
You'd be smelling. And the lawyer came before that, and they were going, bro, they've gone. What are we going to tell them? Because they had the money, because they broke the curse. Man's found the foot odor. It was onions and peaches. How coincidental, those 2 heads in the Wild West times. Yeah. And they had money now.
Okay, that's
so
fair.
Man's it doesn't matter if he was innocent or not. They just had money.
But also, in saying that as well, why didn't they give him like a lawyer? Everyone has a right to legal, support. I don't know about the United States, but I'm assuming if a child is involved, they have the right to legal support.
Yeah, no. The premise maybe could have had a bit of touch up on it, but
I think I just felt bad the whole time thinking like, how can this happen? And how are these people getting paid? If it's a government-based thing, there needs to be checks and balances,
Yeah. Look, we're not going to get into too much more of this,
because we're just going to end the podcast.
We're just going to
But hey, shout out Sigourney Weaver, shout out that man,
Mr. Sir,
and shout out the other man.
Marion can be a man's name.
Marion can be a man's name. Can be a place in South Australia.
Can be a shopping centre. Could be a Westfield,
But it could be, man.
You just never know.
You go there, you go movies, you go to Intensity, bro. You play some games.
Bro, you play some games. Anyway, this movie was 100% worth it.
It's worth it.
I really enjoyed this movie. I think this was one of the most enjoyable movies I've watched.
I wouldn't go as that far as saying that, but I did enjoy it.
I don't know. It was a nice, heartfelt movie. It was just got me, man.
Yeah,
just got me right here. All right. So you can.
tell them where they can find us, bro.
Doesn't tell them.
No, tell them where they can find us.
Oh, I thought you said, bro, it doesn't tell them where they can find us.
No, we're at the back catalogue.
So, like Apo said at the start, Patreon, we'll be doing content there probably now, eh?
Yeah,
got
maybe
time?
if we
Maybe
got
got a
time.
bit of time.
Maybe we got time.
It might be 20, 30, maybe 5 minutes. And follow us on Instagram.
Oh, dude,
we post
yeah.
clips and hopefully we'll be posting memes and whatnot because, bro, I like the memes that we used to post.
Yeah, I know, but like that also didn't get as many likes.
Yeah, but we can post a few times a week now because we've got heads on the Instagram.
Right.
We can just do it.
I mean, we can.
Let's just do it, bro.
Okay, I can go. I can make some.
Anyway, that's all. If you're on YouTube, like and subscribe.
Why did you look at me like I'm going to be like, yes, quick, turn off the cameras?
Yeah, so like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on or subscribe on Spotify. Get us to 200 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts so we can say that Holes is good except for all the plot holes on Rotten Tomatoes.
Dude, imagine all the holes puns that we could make. And the meme links. Farewell.